CDC officials say the illness that is hospitalizing thousands of children across the Midwest and the Southeast is just the tip of the iceberg.
While the enterovirus has been around since the 1960s, health officials say this particular strain is dangerous because of the respiratory problems it's causing in children. Fox 4's Kara Dixon has more on what the virus is.
Sending kids back to school means being cautious about illnesses.
It's just something else that they're going to add to the bucket pretty much, and that's something else we just got to watch out for.
After hospitalizing hundreds of kids in the Midwest and Southeast, the enterovirus has parents on edge.
Being that the kids are in school and it's something that gets transmitted by touching or close contact, it's a concern.
Beaumont pediatrician Dr. Alvin Prause says the enterovirus is common.
The problem with the virus, though, there's no great treatment for it. So sometimes it's just supportive care that we can do.
Prause says symptoms are like those of the common cold, but include respiratory problems.
If you have wheezing with a new illness, never had asthma, you need to probably be checked out for that. So.
Washing your hands is one of the ways to help you minimize your risk of getting enterovirus. While doctors say it's not yet in this area, it will only take a matter of time. Parents say their biggest concern is knowing whether their child has the cold or the virus.
I'm scared to the point where, by the time I find out it's something serious, it'd be too late.
Maybe the school is one that could get information for us.
Nothing you can really do. Wash your hands and wear a mask if you need to, just be prepared for that.
And while the illness can be serious, some parents are being optimistic.
You can't concern yourself too much with it. If you concern yourself with everything, with little kids, you'll drive yourself crazy. Just take precautions and look for warning signs is what I would do.
In Beaumont, Kara Dixon, Fox 4 News.
Well, Dr. Ramona Decour is here to tell us more about this outbreak. Thanks for being with us tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Tell us more about the virus and how extensive it is.
So the CDC has reported over 1,000 cases of this virus in children in about a dozen states, mostly in the Midwest. We have had no reported cases in Texas yet, but the CDC is still working on how extensive it is in the states.
Now, we mentioned a few minutes ago it's been around since the 1960s. Why have we not heard about the enterovirus?
Partly because it doesn't usually happen in this many kids, so we're not quite sure why it has infected so many children. So we're still trying to work on that, but it has been around since the 1960s and has presented in crops like this, but it's been more extensive this year. We're still trying to figure that one out.
When we talk about the respiratory problems associated with it, how serious are those problems?
Yeah, well, it can present just like the common cold, and for most people, they'll pass through it without any issues. And then in others, it can cause more severe respiratory symptoms, especially in this type of strain. It's causing increased work of breathing and wheezing, maybe usually in kids that are high risk, though, such as kids with asthma or kids who are exposed to smoking. They're at greater risk for the more severe symptoms of this virus, of this strain.
Now, we saw the map a few moments ago of where the 5 states are located. Oklahoma, obviously, the closest to us, along with Louisiana. It's been in Oklahoma. Does it take more than one carrier to cross the state line to start this kind of virus somewhere else? Or
Not
is
really.
that more of a myth?
No, I mean, actually, we may have some here in Texas. We just haven't reported any yet. And it could be, some people could just have a benign cold, but we're only checking it in kids who are more severe with severe symptoms. So we don't really know the spectrum of this disease and how prevalent it is yet. So that's what the CDC is still working on.
Okay, I'm sure parents are wondering, if they start to notice symptoms of this, is this something that can be treated with over-the-counter medication, or do you need to go to the doctor?
Well, it's really difficult to be able to say this is enteroviruses or this strain of enterovirus versus just a common cold. And like any virus, if you come down with a cold, really rest, hydration, just treating the symptoms until it passes. Unfortunately, there's no treatment for this. But of course, if you've got asthma and you've got increased work of breathing, or you're coughing more, or if you don't have asthma but you're coughing more and you have fever, then definitely see a doctor.
Why do you think we see more strains, new varieties of bacteria and viruses and such, that the medical community is sometimes slow in trying to figure out what this is?
Well, viruses and bacteria are both a little different. And viruses, we're still not quite sure. This virus is contagious like most viruses, contact by respiratory, by fecal route. Bacteria strains mostly it's due to antibiotic resistance and also mutations that occur within viruses and within bacteria. So overuse of antibiotics could be a reason why bacteria has been hard to treat with antibiotics. Viruses we don't have a treatment for the most part, and so it's a little bit more difficult there.
So just kind of have to a virus has to run its course.
Exactly.
Is there anything we need to be doing to protect ourselves?
Most importantly right now, get your flu vaccines. It won't prevent you from getting enterovirus, but at least it'll prevent you from getting a certain respiratory illness. Flu vaccines are in now, and I actually had one case of flu, my first case today.
Already?
Flu positive already.
Wow.
So get your flu vaccines. It's going to be prevalent this year like it's been in the past years. It does cover H1N1 and 2 other strains. And so I have to stress the importance of that, especially in everyone. And then also just practicing good hand hygiene, washing your hands really well with soap and water, at least 20 seconds. Washing down all the tables and chairs and doorknobs, especially in schools.
Yeah, getting the kids to wash for 20 seconds,
It's
that's where
tough.
the challenge comes in.
That's why having antibacterial soap tissue around is good.
All right.
Doctor, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate your time and
Thank you for having me.
very good advice.
Thank you.